Hi, Subhash from dsf.my here. Now, there are a lot of electric vehicles on the market. Some brands you've heard of, some brands you haven't heard of. And a lot of these brands are trying out EVs for the first time. They're giving you a bit more performance than you're used to. And in fact, sometimes a bit more performance than you need. Sometimes they are skewed towards luxury and they charge you extra. But what if there's an EV that just is made to be a perfect replacement product for your regular ICE vehicle? I think that's where the Leapmotor C10 comes in. And you've not heard of Leapmotor, I don't think. They're a pretty new company. And yeah, the whole mentality behind this company is very startup oriented. They are relatively new, they're from China. And unlike all these other legacy players, they don't have any history making ICE products. They came into the business to enter the EV market only. So they are looking at the next 100 years of the car industry. What technology is going to be relevant, how they should design their cars, the platform, the electric motors, the battery packaging, all of those things that car makers that have a legacy in ICE might have only one foot in. They might have to compromise and change the platform to suit multiple powertrain types. With Leapmotor, it's all about EVs. So Stellantis, the big French, Italian, American car company, they looked at Leapmotor and they thought this is the perfect partner because they have a few electric vehicles, but they don't have that startup mindset. They don't have that clean slate mindset, and they don't have the Chinese production facilities that are required for very, very cost-effective EV production. Well, they decided that Leapmotor was the perfect partner, and so every Leapmotor that is sold outside of China is done so through the Stellantis network. Now, let me go into the Leapmotor C10 and show you what is so special about this car. Welcome to the interior of the C10. As you can see, it's very large, and you need this thing, the kind of activity NFC card, to unlock the door and start the engine. Well, you don't really start the engine. What you do is you just put this here and the car is ready to drive. Of course, you need to put your safety belt on. So as you can see, the interior is very minimalist and it's very tech focused. They are trying to move away from traditional things like key fobs, but if you really want, you can buy that as an option. They've also got an app coming up, so you can use that to control certain functions of the car. But yeah, the whole concept of this car is to move in a more tech-centric direction. But the other thing, the real key selling point of this car is the size. Now, I stepped into a lot of EVs. Most of them are C segment-ish. The bigger ones feel like a C segment that is larger than expected. This car is one of the few vehicles that feels genuinely like a D segment SUV. Now, your own, leg space at the back seats is incredible. Now, I sat in the back of this car and I've, done some work at the back with my laptop because there's actually a charger up front here that is 60 kilowatts. That is 60 watts, sorry. It's a 60 watt USB charger. So you can just like put a cable down there, run it through the seat gap here, and you can charge your laptop while doing work in the back seat. And there's more than enough space. It's just very lounge-like in the back. And of course, you get this huge sunroof. But what is nice is that you actually get a cover, and it's built in and it's motorized. Now, a lot of them will have a cover, but it won't be motorized. You got to manually put in. Yeah, this thing closes all the way, but I'm not going to close it because I need the light for the video. Yeah, so it's very incredible, the space you get and the comfort features that you get. The material as well for the seats, it's some kind of branded generic, it's some kind of branded upholstery that is synthetic leather. I like the color that they use. It's kind of like a bit of purple, but mostly grey. A very subtle hint of the purple there. And you also see it on the ambient lighting, the purple on the door cards. So it's a nice interior that is not common in this space. Drive range is 420 kilometers, which is, I would say, what you need, not anything more. It would be nice to have 500 plus, but those things are tied to the price of the car. The bigger the battery, the more you got to pay. So it's a nice balance between how much you're paying and how much you're getting in terms of the size of the car, and the range is just nice. 420 kilometers of range. The only issue I would say with the range is actually to do more with the charging. So the AC charging speed in this car is only 7 kilowatts. which is a little bit below the industry standard. Most of the industry has gone to 11 kilowatts by now. This car is stuck to 7, and the fast charging, the DC fast charging, is around 80 plus kilowatts. So it's not really a 20-minute to 80% charge, it's more like a 40-minute charge. Now, these are all negligible issues. I think if you're just using it as a daily driver, you got a family to move around, you don't want a show-offy car, you just want to move into electric, Leapmotor C10 offers a really, really compelling option. And it's only 149,000. That's the promo pricing. Hopefully you can still get it. It was a launch price at first, but I think they've extended it a few months. Then the price is going to go up to 159. So 159, to me, it's still one segment below some of the more popular options like the BYD Seal and the BYD Sea Lion, which I will show you in a second. Yeah, so the only thing you have to look out for is you have to use this for entering the car and starting the car. The range is 420 and the charging is 7 kilowatt for AC. And the last thing, which I haven't mentioned before, is that there is no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. To me, it's all about your lifestyle choices, right? For some people who never had Apple CarPlay, it's not a necessity. But if you're moving from a car that already has it, then you feel like, oh, you're missing out. I had this car more than a week now, and well, it hasn't really affected me not having Apple CarPlay. The onboard map is not Google Maps or anything, but it's pretty good. It's gotten me to all the locations that I asked it to get me to. Traffic info is there. It's connected with the SIM card. So yeah, it's a pretty decent package. And yeah, the size, I've really not experienced anything of this size. There's no compromise when it comes to the roofline. It's not sloped or anything like that. The boot space is incredible. I'll show you that in a second. And then I'll show you the alternative to this car. So as you can see, we've got two huge pieces of luggage here. I'm sure you can stand this up and insert at least one more bag of this size. This is over 400 plus liters of boot space. Very usable for a family trip. And if you're not loading it up to the brim, let's say you have smaller pieces of baggage, you can actually extend the angle of the recline of the back seats to give you a little bit more room for the passengers. So this shows you just how big the boot of the Leapmotor C10 is. Really made for family-friendly motoring. So that's why you got to recline the thing. Yeah. Okay, so I'll say this is why. So this shows how big it is. Ready? So this shows how big the boot is, how friendly it is for family motoring, even though it's an EV. It's quite rare. But this is not your only option in the segment. 150 odd thousand ringgit is a comfortable price for a lot of middle class buyers. But if you have a little bit more cash to spend, there is a slightly bigger option with slightly more power, but it costs 200,000 ringgit. And that is this, the BYD Sea Lion 7. Now make sure to tune in to Daniel's review of this car to find out more about it.